Life's never dully with Sully. This episode we cover cockroaches on Mars. On now, bugging out with Terra Formars. The first, the last, the Nerdom. With Tom and Mike.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
You like my new jacket?
I do. Yeah, well,
I guess I should have wore a jacket, but yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Effect. Yeah, it's good to be with you again as we're back in the back from break from over the holidays, which we both kind of covered and had some fun times.
Yep. And yeah, you're a little confused. That's a line from the movie we were going to be talking about. I'm not Mike. I'm Tom. And I'm with Mike here. We're the first, the last, the Nerdom, and you've made it to our channel. We talk about all things under the nerd umbrella. Yes. Today we're talking about a movie inspired from a manga, adapted from a manga called Terra Formars. And I guess that's how you pronounce it. So,
yes.
Yeah.
and
I've seen it with a space between Terra and Formars and it together. So
yeah, but the only thing I haven't seen is like a hyphen. So I could only find it on Just Watch with a space. But in any case, and their search is kind of wonky a little bit, to be honest. But what is this all about? Before we get too far along, we are the first, the last Nerdom. And this is our weekly show where we cover a main event, and as Thomas alluded, we cover things that have nerds or attraction or following to things. And this week, it was definitely cool. It was a good palate cleanser is what I was saying, because we had a little bit of a heated pre-conversation, a little bit for more so than usual. But in any case, we want to thank the 60 people who have decided to subscribe to us. We thank you very much. Appreciate that very much. And also go check out, like to take a few minutes here, or a few moments anyway, and talk about, go back and check out our Timothy Chalamet's Bones and All. Very fascinating take on that kind of love story movie, Romeo and Juliet, sort of, kind of. And then, of course, I wanted to say, whoa, you did the Book of the Fallen here, and actually you had a little bit of a side note to cover too with that. I don't know if you wanted to air out your thing and let them have it, or like just update the audience. Do you want to do that, or do you want to go on to the thing?
We may want to wait till Festivus to air out our grievances, but the airing of grievances. No, we can maybe touch upon that later at the end. But yeah, and when we're promoting our incidentals, but
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
something to look forward to. Yeah, we were having a heated argument about various things before the show. Basically, because Mike had ate all the donuts, and I was very upset with that. But no.
Indeed. Yeah. So, but anyway, we also have an ever-growing back catalog, 160 videos. This will be 161 when we put it out. Later tonight, a little bit this evening. But anyway, so if you you're like, what are these guys talking about? Well, we're about to add on to the very extensive variety that we cover here. And what Thomas was saying was, I guess I'll bring up the IMDb page. Also, not easy to think. But anyway, Takashi Miike's, I believe that's how you say it. Terra Formars. And if you're astute, we covered one of his other movies. From the early 2000s, I think 2000 actually, or 2001, something like that, when it came out.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So you, like you were saying, so this was adopted from a manga one. I'd be curious to go back and read that one, because there's a lot to say on this one. I would say that never ever, a sci-fi trope, never ever bring an egg on board your ship. That's one, but they rolled right through that one.
This movie is based off a manga of the same name, Terra Formars. The one that we did previously was Ichi the Killer, which is based off another manga. So all of our Takashi Miike so far have been manga related. However, he's done a ton of other stuff. He's done at this point hundreds of movies, and I've seen a good portion of them. So at least 100 of them. So yeah, so yeah. I'm sure we'll revisit him again and again because he's my favorite. One of my favorite directors. Top five. Definitely. So yeah, he's one that I keep going back to, and everything he does is quite different from the last. Although his stuff tends to be kind of out there, have an edge, kind of a weird edge to them that you just. There's almost always there's a moment in his movies, at least one moment where you kind of scratch your head and go, "What?
Right.
What just happened?"
No, this one had that the entire trip. It reminded me of and I think Godzilla -1 or something like that is out in the theaters right now. Well, we currently talk here December 3rd. Tomorrow will be the 4th. But anyway, that I've heard good things. I actually want to try to sneak in the theater and see it, but I don't know that I'm gonna have time just to go see it solo. But I've heard good things. But anyway, this also brings to mind Power Rangers. It brings to mind just the Godzilla, the monster vision kind of thing going on.
Big rubber monsters,
or Monster Bull, whatever you want to call that, Godzilla Bull, that kind of thing. Like, definitely has its own flavor, but you can definitely tell where it was made for sure. So that's and I've never read the manga, but I would anticipate that it probably did its own thing. Obviously, it's a different format. It's a format shift, but for the most part, it was interesting. And I did not see half of the things that happened in this movie. All that being said, because again, it's a different lens, different perspective. So it's kind of nice to have you think XYZ is going to happen because you're used to certain kind of formats and kind of tropes that you've already seen before. But this one, I didn't. I kind of enjoyed it. It was a good palate cleanser, like I say.
It's for those uninitiated by this movie, it's basically in the manga, and then there's also an anime as well. And I think the manga is still ongoing unless it's wrapped up recently. So this movie kind of covers like the first part of the manga, and I haven't read the manga either. I've seen pictures and from it, but yeah, that's about it. So it's about the year's 2599, I believe, and they're colonizing Mars. They sent a bunch of algae and some cockroaches to Mars, and for some reason that turned the the atmosphere and landscape to something that's inhabitable by humans. Which this is a movie where you don't you definitely don't think too hard on the science of it, the practicality of things. You just have to go with the flow.
It very much has a serialized way about it. I like the way that because it's unique and I've not seen that before. I've not experienced that with this particular genre of movie, as it were. But it checks all the boxes off. It's sci-fi. It's on Mars. It's not too distant humanity, that kind of thing. So you it doesn't take very long to get there. It doesn't beat around the bush. It just kind of like drops this thing, and then you adapt to it, and then you move on to the next thing, and then it kind of builds it very rapidly, which I enjoyed. It did it pretty coherently. I mean, you definitely knew what was going on, even with subtitles turned on and all that. And of course, you kind of got a little bit of kind of bigger than life personalities, outlandish style, like you were saying about one of the main bad guy, I guess you'd call him, is this dude who is obsessed with fashion and basically
a little flamboyant.
a little flamboyant, but also wears it like it's royalty. Like his caste is higher than these cockroaches, essentially these bugs, Earth's pest. Several times they say they take the pest from Earth. Basically, if you're poor, if you're a poor as poor, you're screwed in the future apparently, and your only way is to basically do a Hunger Games type, thing. Although you're not paying tribute, you're basically down and out, and you get caught doing some kind of crime, and you get swept up, and then basically you are just prison. You're prison meat. You're fodder. You're cannon fodder.
you're given the choice of, okay, you can go to Mars and kill some cockroaches, or you'll face murder charges here.
Right.
With
an amazing amount of minimum detail, like cockroaches, they just say these things.
Yep.
And boy, they're not quite what they were expecting.
Oh,
go ahead.
And Takashi Miike wears a lot of his influences on his sleeve. I was going to mention that it's streaming now on Tubi, but also there's a wonderful Blu-ray that that Arrow Video came out with, which I think I'm going to talk about Arrow Video at the end, because they're having a big sale going on right now, and I want to promote that. But yeah, the Blu-ray Arrow Video has a really nice Blu-ray of it, which comes with a little booklet, little essay, and by one of the big biographers of Takashi Miike, Tom Mess, and so he wrote a little article for that booklet about the movie.
Right.
And it said that Takashi Miike's favorite movie is Starship Troopers, and you can kind of
yep. You can easily, whether it's official or not, you can easily see influences that are very much washed up on that you see throughout the movie, and I really appreciated that. Basically, if you're any kind of a substantial science fiction nerd of the last 50, 60, 70 years, any era. This will have a lot of things that you recognize. So you go, oh, it's kind of nice. It's like a little nod.
Yep.
It's very refreshing. And the other thing too that I liked is, even though there were kind of main characters, one, you don't know who's who from when you walk into this. So it's kind of like all that, like they don't wait long, and nobody's sacred. Everybody gets it. And I kind of like that. I like that aspect that, like, there's no, in Western movies you can tell who is untouchable in the plot, and sometimes that sticks out like a sore thumb, and they don't do it very well. When they don't do it very well, that's what happens. Otherwise, if it's a really good story, it blends in and you accept it. But here, not so much. It's not quite as clear cut, and I love that. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen next, even though it has its own stylized way of introducing you to, okay, here's the setup. They land on Mars, and it's already somewhat terraformed with algae and the cockroaches or whatever. But little do they know, it's not.
Yeah, they're expecting little tiny cockroaches they're going to kill, and yeah, they turn out to be full size. And also, when I first saw this a few years back,
we're talking about here.
Anything Takashi Miike, as soon as I can get on.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yep. Yeah, that's a big influence. As soon as a Takashi Miike movie comes out and I can get my hands on it, like most of the time it's going to be imported from Japan or from some other place. And I got the Blu-ray or the DVD for this, and I had no clue. I had no concept of the manga, nothing. So when they revealed those cockroaches in the movie, those full-size giant men cockroaches, it was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, and no matter, and they did obviously it's CGI, but I will say some of it kind of pokes through a little bit, but that's okay. You kind of go with it. But I will say at the very beginning, I did appreciate the Blade Runner. Like, you just appreciate these little nods to it.
Yeah, there's a definite Blade Runner nod at the beginning.
It's very dope, and I enjoyed the hell out of that. So, like, I just like that from that standpoint.
Even with the main character climbing, running up on top of a vehicle, which iconically Harrison Ford does in Blade Runner as well.
That's true. That's true.
With the rain coming down, and it's Yep. And there's other little nods. There's a couple of references to Alien. There's the little
egg.
the little bird that dips into water. There's a couple of those in there, and the egg, obviously. And I mean, even Aliens, the fact that it's these core group of kind of ne'er-do-wells, going out in their outfits. Tell me, it's basically, I think, designed from the manga, but they look like stormtrooper outfits without the helmets.
I noticed that too. Yeah. There's just so many nods that are so wonderfully sprinkled throughout this that just that alone kind of takes its own kind of cool. Like, it's kind of like that meme with the Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh know that one. Yeah. It is that all day long with this, and I liked it. It might have been a little bit long, maybe 10, 15 minutes, but we're not in the realm of like this is a super high critical praise, takedown of this video. It's just like it was nice. I appreciated the things that was there. It was a different kind of movie, different kind of take. And I am slowly but surely becoming more of a fan of his work for sure. And I'll probably appreciate it more when me, you, and Justin maybe do like a crossover or something like that with like some other at some point in the future. But it would be cool to kind of soak up some of this anime that this stuff is based on and like kind of go back. Because again, it's kind of like how I was saying how Bones and All from last week. It's kind of like I think you get the maximum benefit of it if you like maybe go read the book and then watch the movie, or you go watch the movie a couple times. I think either way you're gonna be better served than just how it is. And there's just so many things here that are very interesting to get into,
Yeah, and actually, there's another good contrast between this movie and Bones and All. Bones and All had a lot of its inspirations kind of worn on its sleeve, but didn't rise above the influences. Whereas this movie maybe didn't rise above the influences, but created something totally different. Made you kind of smile every time you saw a nod to another movie, but it did its own thing. It's a completely original. You're not going to say, "Oh, this movie ripped off Alien." No, it definitely didn't.
No, you're not. No.
And I love this this frame of the movie because this movie, even though it has goofy cockroach monsters, everything is taken very, very seriously. But this moment when it's on the spaceship there, and he lands on the windshield, and it's a bug on the windshield. I mean, that's such a funny image, and something that we see every day. But yeah, it's sort of like a grand scale of that. But yeah, it's awesome. But yeah, it's taken so seriously. Like all the characters are serious. I mean, if it was an American movie, you would have to have some of the characters grinning towards the camera, which it never happens here. There's never like a one-liner is like I squashed that bug, or some stupid one-liner that you would have to have sprinkled throughout a U.S. movie. This is taken so seriously. At the beginning, you kind of laugh a little bit, but the action's so intense. And so, they break some woman's neck at the beginning. Yep. So when you're first introduced to them, so you're almost wanting to giggle, but then you're like, oh crap, what's going on here?
What the hell just happened? Yeah.
And then everything's taken so seriously is that by the end of it, you're into the world. You believe in these cockroach characters. They're forced to be reckoned with, even though they never change their look. They're still that stupid looking cockroach.
Right. Yeah.
Monster.
No. Yeah, and that's one of the things. Like, because you see these characters, and you see, they're all kind of like from different walks of life in Japan. They're like the Yakuza guy, the cop, the the serial killer, all these kind of things. So it kind of had a little bit of a feel of Predators, a little bit too, because like that's where that was a Predator movie that it I think it did okay. But basically, they all kind of are dropped on this planet, and like, good luck to you. And like all of the human characters, it was just like that. It was like there are so many things, and I'm sure that's not by coincidence at all. I'm sure, but it kind of goes into to that. But of course, that's could be a common enough idea to spring from. But if it's done well, and you learn these characters, and you see these dainty women, and they're like, you're like, surely they're not gonna. Nope, everybody gets it. Like everybody gets it. Like they don't. He doesn't waste any time jumping into the body gore, so to speak. But really, how it's done though, it's kind of cartoonish. It's not as offensive, I guess. I don't know. Like you just kind of accept it because it's like, oh well, by the way, they're on friggin' Mars that they can breathe on. With these cockroach men that are god awful looking, or they're just creepy to look at, just in general. But...
there's that uncanny valley thing to them.
Right.
They're kind of goofy, but also kind of creepy. I could see people having nightmares about these things. when I was reading the article in the Blu-ray, they did said that there was sort of so some people kind of complained about the manga because there being some maybe racial stereotyping or something with it, and I was like, I don't understand that.
I don't
When
see
I was
that at
looking,
all.
I
Yeah.
didn't. It's not clear in the movie because they kind of redesigned the cockroaches a little bit. If you actually, I saw a frame of the manga, and I could see from that where they might be getting that. So yeah, they smartly redesigned the cockroaches a little bit to to definitely get away from that. But yeah, the movie, yeah, it's I again, I've seen at least 100 Takashi Miike movies, and yeah, I couldn't even say it's in the top 50 movies, but it's highly enjoyable.
Right.
It's even a low tier Takashi Miike movie is something to recommend and watch. I mean, that goes without saying with him. He doesn't make a non-interesting movie. If he's going to do it, he's going to put a little bit of flair into it. Another cool thing about the Blu-ray is that it has like an hour and a half long making of, which was kind of, it was interesting. I'm a big stan for Takashi Miike, so I'm going to watch everything. But yeah, it's kind of interesting how he describes his female cast, like the main lead woman, a female character in this, who gets killed 5 minutes into the movie. But he kind of described her as like a grandmother. He said that she's got kind of wise beyond her years, like a grandmother. I was like, I'm sure that the actress wouldn't appreciate that, but then he compared another one to an older brother.
Right.
And he described I can't remember which one it was, but he said that yeah, she's very active, and he goes, she's not a woman you'd want to marry.
Right.
My.
Gotcha. Active that way. Okay. Right.
Yeah,
Right
and
on.
I was
Right.
like,
Right.
and he goes, but then he quickly followed that with but she would never be interested in marrying me. So yeah, this is like kind of covering his tracks. But yeah,
Right.
he I like interviews with him because he really speaks his mind. And another thing he said, that when he was making the movie, he said he wasn't making it for a particular audience. He just didn't want the manga artist to be embarrassed by his movie. So
Right on.
so yeah, he's a very humble, in all the interviews I've read. He's a very humble director who kind of looks at directing as like a regular job, like a construction worker or whatever. It's not glamorous. It's he's just doing a job.
Right. He's here to tell you a story and give good enough credit to the source material, and
Right.
do his unique take. Yeah, I can see why people like his style. I'm slowly but surely very slow roll in here. I'm sure we will definitely cover more for sure.
Yep.
Because there's just anything that has kind of a sci-fi slant to it or sling to it. I want to see, especially like it late. Of course, it goes in phases, but sometimes you're like, oh, wait, Mars. Like, okay, let's see what this universe is. There's been hundreds, if not thousands, of books in sci-fi genre where Mars played some kind of a component in. But it's always cool to see another kind of take on it, and just kind of go. And you don't give too much thought to the technical details. They very much Star Trek their way around that stuff without too much difficulty. And the callbacks to Blade Runner and old and new. I mean, they're all there. Starship Troopers, you definitely get a sense for the Paul Verhoeven version. Not the book version, but
yeah. If you go back a few that guy right there, he's a American kickboxer.
Okay, right on. Oh yeah. No. They actually had a kickboxer kind of type. Like they just kind of threw it in. They didn't really.
Yeah.
No, some of the characters they do a little bit more backstory on. When they do that means that they're more important in the story, obviously, as you get to know these. And some they just do kind of like they just throw it out. We're doing 60, 65 on the highway. We're just throwing it out, and we're not going back. So keep up, That was one such character, because there's so many. It was very impressive to have that amount of people and kind of naturally, intuitively see who's important, who's not. You kind of get an understanding with that way.
Yep. Yeah. I think think about a lot of Japanese movies is a lot of times there's a tons of moments in the movie where one of the characters have this heartfelt conversation with another one, maybe they're at death's door or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot of those, and that kind of drags the movie a little bit, I think. But that's just a trope of from the amount of Japanese movies I've seen, that there's that's kind of baked into their movies. I guess they want to have that moment. Goes. Yeah, right, exactly. And another thing is, for them to combat these giant cockroaches, they have to inject themselves into a specialized. That each of them get a different bug that that their powers come from. And I like how each time they get injected, there's like this scientist guy kind of explaining. Explaining their bug and their powers, and there's you
get like a really cool kind of Pokemon card, kind of Monster Vision, a Godzilla bowl kind of thing going on, like where it's like, this is based on this, and then and if they don't get to it right away, they have a very unique. It's just very interesting because sometimes they hit the stride and you accept it. You're just like, oh, this is cool. All right, cool. Like some of the powers and bugs like don't make any goddamn sense whatsoever, but then you learn that this is also an experiment. So essentially they're going to give like the cool powers out, and then they're going to give the super stupid lame powers out. Like you're going to die. You're just going to die. Like that's just how it is.
Yeah, and it's
very interesting.
Yeah, it's much like a lot of those superhero comic books and mangas where, like, you do have your cool characters with the cool powers, but then the writer or artist kind of runs out of ideas, and there's a couple of them with kind of lame ones, and that's kind of what they're kind of spotlighting here. Actually, a couple of them get shot and never get to show off their powers, and the commentator guy goes, well, those two only had, this one could breathe underwater and this one could go underground. I don't know why they gave them those powers.
I love
anyway.
I love that. I love that. That was very refreshing. Like I said, this was like just a good kind of change of pace palate cleanser for like something just unique, kind of cool, does its own thing in its own way, and you're just along for the ride. Like that's something that you don't get too much in contact with it. Current media and movies and bullshit. Excuse me.
They treat the story very seriously, but they every once in a while they with the announcer and some of the things, they kind of wink at you and go, we're in on the joke, but we're going to treat this seriously, and it's to the benefit. There's a fine line between treating something kind of ridiculous like this movie is seriously, and or making it too goofy. There's kind of a balance there, and Takashi knows that balance very well. He knows when to push the seriousness and then pull back and let people kind of giggle at maybe like there's a really goofy serial killer character that's just he's a joy to watch in this movie. I wish there was more of him, but yeah, he's a bit fun. Now the guy that plays the head scientist guy, the evil scientist guy that sends them to Mars, he's got a real nice sense of fashion, and he's a little flamboyant, but Takashi came to the actor and he was like, hey, I want you to play this role. And the actor was like, well, okay, but I really wanted to play this guy that's comes into the story in the manga later on. So I really want to play that guy, and but that wouldn't be until the sequel. And Takashi goes, I don't know if there's going to be a sequel. He's very honest. He's like, I don't know if this is going to do good, but
right.
Good, well enough to be a sequel. So let's do this character first.
Right. Let's just do what we have in front of us first, and then go. Yeah, the cast was. I mean, what are you gonna say? Like this is like. Oh, well, I think the rating here is like 4 point. Oh my god, 4.8 or whatever. I don't know. Like we don't really do that here, but I would say it's higher than that. Like it's like a low 6 or something, you know. But like it's solid. It's solid. It's fun. I don't think. I think the other one that we saw maybe rated a little bit higher in this, but it still, it doesn't take itself. You do buy into their seriousness because they're there to do a job. So it's kind of like nice, like where somebody's not screwing off or like doing one-liners or like breaking the fourth wall, like you know.
I really enjoy watching documentaries and specials on movies from Japan. So anytime I get a Blu-ray from Japan, I always watch the special features or the behind the scenes documentary stuff, because they treat the stars in these Japanese movies like royalty, Hollywood, how they used to treat Hollywood royalty back in the day. It's like, oh, and we have this actor, blah blah blah. And evidently there's like a bunch of big star power people in this movie. And also it is like, even though it's very goofy looking, it is one of the most expensive movies made in Japan, done by Warner Brothers. Oddly enough, you got that Warner Brothers banner at the beginning, so we don't want to show. We're not showing any clips from the movie.
No,
but
no, they don't like the copyright, so they don't play fair. So it's no point in doing it. And this is exactly why YouTubers don't play clips all that much unless they know for sure that they're not going to get struck. We're going to do that, but anyway, for sure.
But yeah, it's a big budget movie that. That actually a lot of it, as Mike alluded to, a lot of it was CGI, like the when they're out in the terrain of Mars. Basically, the only thing that was real were the actors and the rubble or the ground, the ground, and everything around it was blue screen or green screen.
Right.
They showed that off during the making of. The only things that were physically built were the spaceships. And the spaceship and they built the set for the Blade Runner scene that would take place at the beginning. And it was kind of interesting how they filmed it, because they filmed all the action scenes at the middle and end of the movie first. Then they filmed the Blade Runner stuff, right, or the on Earth stuff. And Takashi goes, it was sort of like going from Mars to Earth, the transition, mentally, and then they filmed all the stuff in the spaceship, and they did that in order so that the actors could get used to their characters. So by the time they were doing the serious acting in the spaceship, they were with the characters for a long time, so that they had a better feel for the characters, so that those scenes were better. And I like that, how they paced that out to do that.
Yeah, they I guess this is the actual manga that I brought up. But yeah, I look, is it the best thing ever on the planet? No. But you know what? I think for me that it works more than not is the fact that it pays its dues. It does it in its own voice, its own way. You have no idea what's going to happen. It doesn't take long to kick off the action, and I'm very glad that this is this is the Stormtrooper thing that we were talking about a little bit. In that, like there's just so many different things that are part of this, and some of these actors, the actors, some of them, like you buy it, you buy absolutely. Some of the ones that are only there for a moment are for to serve for cannon fodder, maybe not, but for the most part, like even them. Even they kind of, they don't William Shatner act their death. Everything is in proportion to what a strange world you're in anyway. So it works.
Yeah, it's and like you said, when the actors become their bug characters, it's very much in the style of Power Rangers, but again done quite seriously. It's
right.
And the action's done quite well, but yeah, it's it's very much a Japanese movie. It's even though we're kind of uh, America's kind of being more and more welcome with manga and anime and everything. This still kind of retains that Japaneseness, because I was reading on IMDb, the kids of Japan are obsessed with bugs like American kids are with dinosaurs. Yeah. So yeah, they read up on all the various bugs and stuff. So this is kind of catered towards, and the manga is like a huge seller. It's sells 16 million copies. So
that's crazy
in Japan. So yeah, it's a huge thing in Japan. So yeah, again, it's more of a Japanese thing. But yeah, you as an American, you could watch it as an oddity, and I think that's maybe kind of leans. IMDb is more of American website as far as people going to it. So I can see where it gets rated lower on the average than, say, if it was rated in Japan, it would maybe rated a little higher. But yeah, it's one of those movies that, again, it's not the best movie ever.
Right.
You're not going to be bored, and it's highly entertaining. And if you turn your brain off, which you should, when you watch it, and don't try to figure out the plot too heavily, because you're going to find some inconsistencies, and, well, why did they do that? And it's like, just they did it because it would lead to something cool. Right, that's why they did it.
Pretty much, yeah. they don't. It's kind of cool here. It kind of was cool. Like, I'm sure.
That's that whole thing. That whole set there is CGI, except for the actors, and then the little consoles are kind of aren't as fancy. That they fixed those up digitally. So yeah, it's almost like how George Lucas filmed Phantom Menace is like almost all CGI.
Yeah, the green screen, blue screen, whatever the heck it was, actually was done better. Like
it was done well. Yeah,
done better than some modern movies today. And what I mean by that is, it is crisp and sharp as, like, say, Jurassic Park is, like, from the 90s, from 93. No, but it still is better. It's still better quality that you buy and dig into than what you get in some productions today, like, where the CGI is just like it's supposed to be the main draw, and it's like, that doesn't work. Not very well.
And the evil creatures, the cockroaches, they kind of look menacing on that poster, but yeah, in the movie they are kind of, with their big googly eyes, they're a bit goofy looking. But yeah, that would have been nixed immediately in an American movie. They would have saw those as like, nope, too goofy, nope, you can't do it. Whereas I love that you could get away with that in Japan. Japan's going to let you do that, and you're better for it. It makes it so much of a different tone, and you don't get that tone in any other, an American movie. Look at the atrocity of that last live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Right.
They're like, oh, well, they can't be goofy looking. They can't be like they did, those big rubber things. So they made them this weird hybrid of kind of realistic, but kind of gross looking, kind of reptilian kind of monstrosities.
Right.
And you lost all the charm, all the personality, everything from that movie. Whereas this movie, maybe it's a little, it's goofy looking, but it has a personality. It has a charm. It has a presence. You know immediately what you're looking at when you see this. And if you look at the manga again, it's very, very much inspired by that. Whereas these monstrosities in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, that 2014 one,
yeah, I know exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about, because this did not take off whatsoever. This did not do it. It was too. This was like too much Uncanny Valley, but is the main thing. And the thing they did very well for making them silent, mute, I guess, like that.
Yep.
Up until because obviously they're communicating in a different way. You assume they are, or whatever. But like the IMDb, good grief, I can't find it for shit. But that's funny. Yeah, no, and I didn't. Yeah, this one was just like, oh my God, it was just it's just different. It's just like, just look at that. Like, that is not. That's the main characters. Like, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. But you know what does work? This works. That works very well. And you kind of see like they have a little bit of Dragon Ball in there. They have like a little bit of Super Saiyan or Saiyan, half human, half hybrid Saiyan to Super Saiyan to Ultra Instinct Goku. whatever you want to talk about. And it was cool, like what insects they picked, because in a Western film, in the U.S. film, they would have picked like completely different ones, different insects it wouldn't have been the same thing. It would not have been the same level of love for the story. It would have been compromised. I feel like it would have been like some spider, or, I don't know. They're it's just kind of funny because like. And maybe that's a callback to, like, instead of like the insect biting you in American comics or whatever, or you get exposed to some kind of radiation and then you tune. It's kind of like, nope. It's like you're gonna get some kind of like weird thing, and then there's the body horror show part as well, which it completely goes in line with this. Nothing is like, it's supposed to be gooey. Or I don't kind of like just goopy, kind of. It's just interesting how they pulled that off. It was just very, very fascinating, for sure.
Yeah, and they did. This is. I wish
they had more photos of this whole thing. Sorry, I was just trying to find.
Yeah. They have very limited. Yeah, I had trouble finding a good thumbnail picture because I wanted something that maybe had the monsters in it, but I think it turned out well. I like the blue and red of the thumbnail, but yeah, they actually is the first movie that they actually went Japanese movie where they went to Iceland and they did some drone shots of kind of the landscapes, because the Iceland kind of has an alien landscape to it. That's where they use that for that movie that video game Death Stranding for a lot of this kind of weird topography. Yeah. But those first shots of the huge landscapes in the movie is kind of shows you those shots that gives it kind of more of a grander scale to it. But also there's a section in the documentary about the CGI and them animating the cockroaches. Obviously they did that with putting the little dots on them and doing the motion animation. But the cool thing is like one of the guys that were choreographing the action of the monsters was Takashi Miike himself. He was like the main guy animating the monsters because he knows it. Because he had the whole gear on with the bulbs on him, and he was out there in front. So he's like a lot of the main bad guy cockroaches, the hero cockroaches was him acting out. And also when you're watching him direct, he's very meticulous in how the actors act things out, and he gives them the reasoning behind it as well. So he's very hands-on as far as what he wants and what he sees. And then there was when I was watching it film, they did have one big guy in did have one big cockroach physical suit, kind of rubber suit of the cockroach for certain scenes where the humans actually hands-on interact with them.
Directly. Yeah. And they must have done a fair bit of practical effects, at least as far as like the thing, because like in different scenes, like there's a lot of carnage, obviously, and there's leftovers, we'll just call it that, and those are very much in witness, or you witness them very much in the scenes, and it kind of like it becomes its own set. Like the actor has to walk over the gore, which again, it's very cartoony. Is the best way I can put it, in a good way, not in a bad way. It's just very, very unique with that. I'm trying to play this kind of like a little bit more, so we have a little bit more stills as we go through here. But you see certain characters, like kind of like, I don't know, like maybe big brother, little sister kind of thing, I guess, or you see like teacher.
That's from that's Iceland right there.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's
But yeah, they do a good job with that. And again, it doesn't you see what you see is what you get. If you're not into it in the first 30, 40 minutes, then you're probably not going to last that long. But for the most part, I think it works. And it's just fun to see something unique and different and done in its own way. Like this inspires me to go check out the manga, and go download it or pay for it and see if I can, or maybe even the anime. Like, I don't know, we'll see. But I'm
kind of curious if the anime's so where it's streaming at. But yeah, one other thing I'd like to add in is anytime I see an interview with a actor or actress who's worked with Takashi Miike, before and after they've worked with him, they're always in awe of him. They want to work with him. Really? They think he's awesome. And then afterwards, they have nothing but good things to say about him. But one of the actors, I think it was the guy that plays this character right here, the evil scientist. He said that one day during the filming of it, his daughter, Takashi Miike's daughter, came on set, and he said it was kind of interesting to see their relationship, because it's very different from him as a director. And at one point she was taking pictures with the actors, and Takashi was getting into one of the shots, and his daughter's like, "I don't want to take pictures with you, Dad."
Oh, that's funny.
Which with the actors like, "Oh my gosh, I would, I would love, I'd give anything to take a picture with Takashi Miike." Whereas his daughter's like, "It's just Dad."
Right. No, I got Dad at home. We got.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. This scene here is like when they first encounter. Cockroaches aren't what you think they are. They're these proto-Martians, I guess is what you'd call them. Really, truly. But it's just very interesting. And apparent some of the grander themes kind of make sense a little bit. And of course, at the very end, spoiler alert, we're far enough along to say that, like, there's kind of like this dialogue at the very, very end that would kind of it would be very interesting if they did do a follow-up, just for the state. But it had to be him doing it. And it had to be. There's only one person in the world who could ever pull that off, and maybe if they put a little bit more money into it, it'd be something pretty amazing. But regardless, there is no sequel, and this one is perfectly fine. And if you want more, the beautiful part is that if you want more of the storyline, you have that in two forms. So you have a whole series that you can watch on anime, or you can go back and watch, or read. I'm sure the years and years of that storyline, the way that they publish manga in Japan is a little bit different than how we do comics here. Yeah. It's and if it doesn't hit, if it doesn't work with the crowd, as we discovered with our special guest the other day, it doesn't work. It doesn't get retained. Which you've also called attention to as well.
Yep. I guess we're getting close to the end, but I mentioned I got the Blu-ray from the Blu-ray from Arrow Films, Arrow Video. They have a big holiday sale up until December 18th, is I believe the end of it. So if you've seen this recently, and I am planning on picking up some Dario Argento's Giallo movies. I know we talked about Tenebrae, so they have a Deep Red and Bird in the Crystal Plumage on there. So yeah, maybe that'll be a future show for later on for us to go over.
Absolutely. Look at that. Oh my God, I'm going to become bankrupt. And these prices are good too.
Yeah, they're sold. So yeah, a lot of them are 50, even more than 50% off. Yeah. So yeah, if you wanted, and again, they license out to. Wow. Yep. Yeah, I've already picked up Flash Gordon, but that's cheaper than what I got it for. So yeah,
Wow.
it's
Yeah, these are. I like this because you can absolutely go get a few of these and not even think about it. You know, obviously.
Yeah, Flatliners on 4K. You know, come on for $25. Yeah.
Oh man, that was an old classic. Old classic. You know, Shaw Scope.
Yeah.
That's funny. The Hills Have Eyes. Oh, that's the original. That's the original.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
good. I'm good.
In 4K.
Yeah, The Possessed. Ooh, dope. Oh, okay, wow. That they have a lot here. I'm trying to find but this one was on there, right? You were saying?
I don't know if it's on sale, but it's definitely they have it there.
Yeah, not on sale per se, but like
it is.
Yeah,
it is
fine.
on sale. It is on sale. So
that's let me pull that out. So it's in the show notes.
That's my copy of it.
Awesome.
Yep. Yeah. I also have the low quality DVD version of it, of how I saw it originally. But it has the making of, and it has some extended cast interviews. It's the outtakes are funny. There's some of the characters, their hair as they become progressively more bug like, some of their hair gets bigger and bigger. And there's a scene of the main guy doing a fighting scene, and his wig flips off during the middle of it.
Didn't catch that.
Yeah, it's pretty entertaining. But no, it's one of the outtakes.
Oh, I got you.
Behind the scenes stuff that they have on the Blu-ray. So it's definitely worth. If you are a huge fan of the movie, and you haven't got this, be a great time to get it. It's like I said, it's only $17. So Arrow is doing us good. But yeah, if you don't want to invest into a hard physical copy, you can always see it streaming on Tubi.
Yeah, I actually I ended up, because I knew this one, and I did the same thing with the other Miike film, which was I bought it on Amazon, just so I could rewatch it if I want to. And actually, I think it was like $4 to buy on Amazon, which is like I don't have to think about that one. Which is nice. Yep. So it's kind of cool to maybe shipping and handling, or unless this website has like a threshold, then they get free shipping and handling. You're probably encouraged to spend a little bit more.
That's a
steal.
There is like a threshold. Yeah.
For what you get. Not to mention the other ones that we kind of scrolled through, like the first couple pages of them. That's really cool. And again, physical media. Just kind of like as we're I think we're hitting the caboose, as it were. But one of the things I had heard in the news, to kind of encourage you to go get a 4K, or to at least start collecting a little bit of the ones that you really care. You got to collect everything, but things that are good, you should have on hand and a physical copy of, because I saw that Sony deleted I watched Louis Rossman, and he covers tech and things that are in the world of this and that. And he is his own kind of unique flavor. So there is that. I'll put that out there. But I've always followed him way back in the day, and he covered how Sony basically zapped a bunch of movies that people had bought on prior generations in the Sony ecosystem.
Because they lost the rights to it, and
right.
So the movie that you have on your shelf, Sony's not going to show up to your door and take it off your shelf. At least, hopefully, they won't. But you run the risk. You're in digital. You never really truly own anything.
No, you're paying for a multi-year license, if anything. You're not, and it's not in perpetuity.
Exactly.
Decades now. I've encountered that over the years with Apple. When I had time and I gave a crap, I would call Apple up and I'd be like, "Hey, why did this happen? Like, give me my money back." Like, actually, they were probably done a handful of times, but they were like, "Oh, hey, we're sorry. Yeah, sure, no problem." Sometimes it's available, sometimes it's not. But I always got my money back, at least. And then it happened like maybe 3 times, I think, over the time. Yeah. And that's why I quit having allegiance to any of them. I have my own Plex server, and I have what I have on there, and that is what it is. So like that's the next best thing, I guess. But you know what, Sony, Big studios, you bring it on yourself. But of course, I'm going to be paying forever until the day I die. I'm sure I'll be paying and repaying for different versions of this stupid thing or that, or whatever the next format shift is. Who knows? But anyway, change it over. But all the more reason to go get physical media for things that you really care about. Anyway.
Yeah. And I was going to do a little video segment on Amazon, but
right.
I kind of scrapped it. But I will say this, and we'll talk about that in a second. But if you go to the Amazon website and say you want to, everything is pushing more towards digital. So if you go to the Amazon website and say, okay, I want Barbie 4K Blu-ray, the first recommendation that comes up is the streaming option. That'll pop up first, and then the physical 4K Blu-ray that you were looking for shows up. So
right.
So they're pushing that. They it doesn't cost them as much to it cost them next to nothing to sell you the digital version. But yeah, I just a shout out again to our site, and a few weeks ago I did a little video on me getting halfway through the book Malazan Book of the Fallen book series, and I'm quickly going through. I'm almost done with the 7th book, and I ordered the 8th book, and it came in all janky, like there's 2 sections of, I'd say, like 20 pages or so that are misaligned in the book. And so I called Amazon, and you talk to someone overseas, bless their heart. Their English isn't their first language, so trying to explain what was wrong with the book to her was a bit difficult. Basically, it came down to missing pages. Yes, missing pages. So I had the choice of getting a refund and trashing the book, or getting a replacement. But if I had got a replacement, I'd have to send the book back in. So I felt that was kind of stupid. They were out the money either way. So why not just send me a replacement, keep me as a customer? And so I was like, okay, give me the refund, whatever. So they offered Amazon credit. I was like, nope. Give me the refund on my card.
Money. Cash money, thank you.
Give me a cash money.
Right.
And I drove myself down to my local Barnes and Nobles, which I checked beforehand. They did have a copy on hand. They had 2, actually. I was in the mood. I was kind of pissed off at Amazon, so I was like, I'm buying book 8. If they have 9 and 10, I'm just going to grab them off the shelf and complete my series. They didn't. They had like a 8. I think they had a couple of the first book, maybe the 3rd book. So I only ended up getting book 8. I got checked out by Central Casting, cheap casting of a what looked like a Satanist or something. He has a kind of stringy black unwashed hair, a little thin pencil mustache. And as I bought the book has the cover of this kind of demon dog on it, and he said, looks like a hellhound from Criticals of Riddick. Right. I was like, well, thanks for the book, and have a good day. I got out of there, but yeah, it was interesting to actually go into a brick and mortar store. I hadn't done that in a little while.
Yeah, no, it is funny. Like when you need it, when you need to go get something, it is kind of funny how there's still some avenues like where Amazon it probably will never reign supreme on some things like that, like where it's like, I could order it on it, or you know what, I could just go down a few miles and go pick it up.
Yeah, and also Amazon did reply back to my my post saying that they appreciated the feedback, so someone in Amazon heard me, but yeah, I hadn't had a problem with Amazon in forever. I called them maybe a few years back, and I'm a Prime member, and I felt like royalty the last time I called, the previous time, and then this time it was like I was bothering her, so
Yeah, I have had a little bit more not as great luck sometimes, and I think Hopefully it's not. It's just an isolated incident. You just don't know. But like I do know that sometimes like when you go to like look for something, it used to be a lot easier to search on Amazon. A lot more user friendly anyway for the things that are relevant to what you're trying to do. Sometimes if they don't even have it, they'll try to sell you every other sideways thing that is even close to it. And it's like, nope. And then you realize, nope, it'd probably be better off if I just go somewhere else.
Oh, and then also on my Twitter feed, you can see I don't post anything too personal, but my brother-in-law Ryan and I did try to create our own anime manga series about a chicken bacon and a warlock duck that rides a flying donut.
Yeah.
So.
Indeed, we'll see more adventures, and maybe there'll be something more fun to dig into that a little bit later. But who knows? But that's awesome. Adult Swim, pay attention.
Exactly. I didn't hashtag them because
right on.
I wasn't bold enough, but yeah, it was me having fun. Bing has a built-in AI image generator that I did those 4 images on, and also my Book of the Fallen that's completely AI generated, being AI generated except for the text that I put in. So it's all me, typing in down to our character animated kind of thumbnails, and then the whole background in it all AI. So yeah, it's kind of crazy how things have progressed to the point where you kind of look professional even though you don't have a professional artist helping you out because you can't afford one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, that is just typing my notes there.
So okay, yeah. So if you stayed to the end, you got to see a duck on a donut. Warlock duck on a donut.
Absolutely. I kind of point it back to center. I would recommend seeing this. It even is a first view.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think it matters what film you come into for Takashi Miike at all. You're going to be surprised if not. I think it's just it's really nice to know that name and to know that there's a body of work behind it, and he doesn't fiddle around. He gets it done, and you ultimately get some kind of entertainment from it for sure. Like this definitely opens the door. We haven't even scratched the surface for untapped potential for this particular director, let alone as the United States, as our entertainment and whatnot to go more toward the way of South Korea and Japan. There's all kinds of untapped potential there, and also blends too as well, like Invincible and some other ones, that kind of thing, as it were. But no shortage. I think Spider-Verse stuff too is like kind of there was something about anyway. It didn't matter, but never mind. But with that being said, did you have anything else that you wanted to cover or shout out?
No, I think that's it. I aired my grievances a little early. So yeah, I haven't put up the Festivus poll yet, but yeah, that's going up soon.
We'll do feats of strength as well when the time comes. So. Indeed, I've been Mike.
I'm Thomas. Stay weird out there.
Bugging out with Terra Formars. Mike and Tom. We'll see you next week.